I'm doing Katniss Everdeen from, oh shit, welcome to Accidentally Autistic. This week I'm going to talk about Katniss Everdeen from the Hunger Games, but like from the books. From what I remember of the films, they've like made her slightly more sociable.
Yeah.
Which is annoying. Anyway, so we're introduced to her. Here are some early quotes. Gale says, "I never smile except in the woods." It took a long time for us, i.e. Gale and Katniss, to become friends. Relatable. But after that, she's like super possessive of him, and when a girl shows romantic interest in him, she's like, stay away. She does not want to bang him herself. She just, this relationship is really, really important, and nobody else can interfere with it. Okay, now I've put things under headings.
Yes,
here we go.
obviously.
So, general, like, social skills. She used to say wildly inappropriate things in public, and her mother was terrified they were all going to get, like, killed because they live in a dystopia. She would just, like, vocalize her opinions about living in a dystopia, like, in public, and her mom was like, oh no. And then, like, I mean, the whole plot of the first Hunger Games book is about how they have to, like, present themselves to the cameras and the audience, and, like, make themselves likable, and how difficult Katniss finds this. Relatable. and how like there's a level of which she can see that Peter can do it and admires him for it. So like, Peter laughs and asks questions right on cue. He is much better at this than I am. and then they have to do like lesson plans explaining to her how to do stuff. So like Effie with the hair, Effie Jacob. She says of the lesson plans, "When I finally conquer walking, there's still sitting posture. Apparently I have a tendency to duck my head." Watch these videos. Eye contact, gestures and smiling, and like, I'm not good at lying. And then they try to like make her like interview ready. At once it's clear I cannot gush. We try to be playing cocky, but I just don't have the arrogance. Apparently I'm too vulnerable for ferocity. I'm not witty, funny, sexy, or mysterious. And like, yeah, in the books she like scrapes through the interview. She's like responds to questions in a okay way.
Yeah.
And the only thing that saves her is the fact that afterwards Peter is like, "I've been in love with her for years," and that makes her like seem desirable to the world. But she doesn't see it that way. She, when he reveals this, is livid, and she's like, "He made me seem weak, how dare he!" But like she and Haymitch like communicate with each other, but like through like gifts, like while she's in the arena, like she doesn't speak to him. Like, they don't have conversations. And then just one of the things that flags up in the autistic criteria is, like, as a child, treated like your friends as kind of like subjects or minions or people you could order about. Every time her stylists come up, she refers to them as similar to pets. They are truly thrilled to see me, and I'm happy to see them too. Although not like I was to see Cinna. Or Kinna, I don't know how to say it. It's more in what way one might be glad to see an affectionate trio of pets at the end of a particularly difficult day. She like consistently has a like very strong morality and an obsession with everything being fair and the rules being the same for everyone where they can be. So like, not the forgiving type. She decides that she has to like carry on because she wants her mother to carry on. Like, she can't give up hope. Because I can hardly tell my mother to carry on if I've already given up myself, so that's one of the reasons she's like, okay, let's continue, let's be serious. She's early on very unhappy at the idea that Peter might genuinely be trying to be nice to her, because she knows that she might have to kill him at some point, and she doesn't want to owe him anything. And before they leave District 12, his dad gives her some cookies, and when she realizes Peter is trying to be nice to her, she throws the cookies out the window so that she doesn't owe them anything. Which is like, they still don't have the cookies anymore, so like, yeah, sure. Sensory stuff. She can hear electricity of the electric fence, which I mean, like, is loud. But like, yeah, sure. But it's constantly mentioned. She describes the colours in the capital as too bright, deep, painful to the eye. She hates the capital accent because it's too high a pitch. Throughout the game, she insists on regularly like washing and rebraiding her hair, despite like literally
fighting for her
life, trying to kill her. And then like and the reasons for this seem to be quite sensory. So I can feel my skin itching for the cool water. I made you my hair and braid it back wet. I'm wondering if we might even be able to give our clothes a quick scrub when we reach the screen. They are literally on the way to the final battle. She knows this. She's like, Peter, okay, we've left the camp. We're going to go kill this guy. Then we're going to be winning. But, like, before we go, I need to braid my hair. And she doesn't, it's not because she cares about what she looks like.
It's because
she doesn't care what she looks like.
Clean and...
Yeah. And, like, grip, as I've mentioned before, especially when upset, near the end of book 1, my fingers are still gripping the back of his jacket so tightly that when they take him away, it tears, leaving me with a fistful of black fabric. She's very bad at imagining other worlds, like hypotheticals. Like, if the world was like this, how would you feel? She's like, well, the world isn't like that, so I can't tell you the answer to that. So, like, Katniss's opinion at the beginning there, because like, I never want to have kids. Gale, I might if I didn't live here. Katniss, but you do. And like her attitude on his politics and his plan on like being a revolutionary and like the system is horrible is like he's like constantly like raging against the machine, and she's like his rage seems pointless to me, and like yelling doesn't change anything. So and like when Peter says, there's like, this is one of the most famous lines, Peter says to her, like, I keep wishing I could think of a way to show the capital that they don't own me and that I'm more than just a piece in their games. And Katniss is like, but you're not, none of us are. That's how the games work. Those are the rules. Yeah. She has like very important objects and places and non-sentient things. She has like a special place in the woods where she goes with Gale. Before she leaves for the final battle, which I mentioned, she gives the rocks a pat goodbye, which is
very relatable.
Also because like the entire the world they're in at that point has been built by the game makers.
Yeah.
Like,
they're not even like natural rocks.
Yeah, but she's still like affectionate towards the rocks that they hung out at. After the games, she like sees the clothes that she was wearing during the games, and like when you wear an outfit and something bad happens to that outfit is now bad. Lying at the foot of the bed is an outfit that makes me flinch. It's what all of us tributes wore in the arena. I stare at it as if it had teeth. She inherited her father's hunting jacket when she was 10, I think, and like wore it for like 17 years and all 3 books, whenever she could. And like, then you have like the very emotional side, which is very, very relatable. When I went back and looked at it, I was like, oh shit. So she very much like doesn't understand her own emotions, and therefore like doesn't want to accidentally convey the wrong emotion, so has spent her life forcing her face to be blank, so she doesn't convey anything without her own knowledge. Mm-hmm. Early on she describes Prim, her sister, as the only person in the world I'm certain I love, which implies a great confusion about everyone else. And then like she's constantly trying to be able to like look at her own feelings and analyse them before she's allowed to give them a name or like act on them. So like I feel a sort of shiver run through me and there's no time to analyse why. Someone like gives her some flowers. I work hard to look pleased. And then near the end of book 1, the idea of seeing Gale in a matter of hours makes my stomach churn. But why? I can't quite frame it in my mind. And then her whole relationship with Peter, which is like how to have a friendship, how to have a crush, which like she doesn't understand. Like he gives her emotions and she's like, what are these? How do I feel about him? Who knows? I better refuse to tell him anything about how I feel until I've completely sorted it out within my own head, but I don't really have the time because I'm traumatized and busy.
Busy, saying the world.
Yeah. So the way she meets Peter is that she's literally starving because her father's died and her mother's gone into like a mental like stupor. And so she's starving and she's like at the back of his house and he sees her, goes inside, and then there's this huge ruckus because he's burnt the bread and his mom like smacks him over the head and tells Peter, like throw the bread to the pigs, it's useless now, we can't sell it. And he walks outside, throws the bread directly at her. And she's like, did he mean for me to have the bread? And it takes him till the next day to consider the idea that he deliberately burnt it. And then it's still like, but why would he have done it? And so she's very, very good at transactional relationships. She makes a living on the black market, but she's very, very, very bad at being offered things or kindness or like feelings that people are just offering because that's how they feel and they don't expect anything. And like she assumes everything nice he says about her is an offensive thing. So she overhears Peter say to Haymitch, she has no idea the effect that she can have, and Katniss says, obviously he meant to demean me. And then she constantly like doesn't notice she has a crush on him, so she like recites a bunch of his skills at one point to Hamish, and then goes, apparently I've not been as oblivious to him as I imagined either. The flower, the wrestling, I've kept track of him. And then deep in the games, the rules change so that 2 tributes from the same district can win together. And she thinks to herself, both can live. Both of us can live. Before I can stop myself, I call out Peter's name. At this point, she still believes she is acting for the cameras and refuses to admit that she has any feelings for him for at least 6 more months. She has no concept of how Peter feels, even though he's explicitly said on national television, I've been in love with this girl for years. She's like, well, this probably, you know, it's just some kind of like ruse. And then, like, he's like really nice to her, she's like, it's just some kind of like ruse. And like during the games, he seems to like be on someone else's side. She's like a little bit confused by him. So there is like a slight reason to not be completely believing, but like she does, as soon as the rule announcement comes, she's like, he knows I'll be looking, right? He won't have so low an opinion of me to think I'd ignore the new rule and keep to myself, would he? He's very hard to predict, which might be interesting under different circumstances, but at the moment only provides an extra obstacle. But like, on the other hand, he completely understands her and is able to be like, you're a really bad liar. And like, this is how you act, and like, this is the good things about you or whatever. And like near the end, she feels the need to go away for like several hours to decide what her thick feelings are and what they mean before she would feel comfortable expressing them. I haven't even begun to separate out my feelings about Peter. It's too complicated, what I did as part of the games as opposed to what I did out of anger at the capital or because of how it would be viewed back in District 12, or what I did because I cared about him. And views separating these things as like completely necessary prerequisites to knowing how one feels or like expressing those feelings to somebody.
Being so dragged.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, like, I'm dragging myself. But like, she's like, oh, like kissing Peter was nice, but like, how many of those kisses can be considered real? Yeah. Let's count them.
Quantify everything.
I can't kiss you again until I know. And then like, she tells Peter she's not sure how she feels about him, and he's like, oh, well, let me know when you know. And she's like, this isn't fair. And like it's near the end. We have like, I want to tell him that he's not being fair, that we were strangers, that I did what it took to stay alive in the arena, that I can't explain how things are with Gale because I don't know myself, that it's no good loving me because I'm never going to get married anyway, and he'd just end up hating me later instead of sooner, that if I do have feelings for him it doesn't matter because I'll never be able to afford the kind of love that leads to family, to children. And I don't know, it's just a very, very familiar shade of like self-hate and self-sabotaging behaviour because of that self-hate we are.
And also not being able to entertain the hypothetical of like, if we didn't live here, I would have kids. Where she's like, obviously this is a hell world where I don't want to have children, I don't want to get married, so I'm just going to never do that. And it doesn't matter what kind of emotions I have, there's literally no point because it will be bad and it should just not. There's no point in doing it, so we shouldn't do it. Full stop.
And like, I'm bad at emotions, and therefore it would, like, any relationship we have wouldn't be like as good as anything elsewhere because I'm not good at this. So
he'll be better with someone else anyway.
Yeah.
So like, many reasons, let's not bother.
Yeah, exactly. I did the big emotion thing. This is just some like extra PSs. In the books, there's a character called Madge, who we don't have in the film. Madge is the one who gives her the Mockingjay pin. She's the daughter of the mayor. She's friends with Madge because Madge just keeps to herself. We rarely talk, which suits us both just fine.
It's us.
And then like, after she's volunteered as tribute, they have like a very short amount of time she has a very short amount of time to say goodbye to everyone. And Madge like knows what she's about. Walks straight in. She is not weepy or evasive. She immediately like gives her the Mockingjay pin. Is like, you have to wear this. You're allowed to wear one thing from your district. I want you to wear this specifically. And like, Madge has thought about it, and then Katniss like slowly thinks about it and figures it out, and like all the meanings of the Mockingjay, and it's this thing that like was accidentally created by the government and they can't control, can't be found. But like, Madge has spent time being like, okay, this is the meaning. This is what I want to happen. I will give this to Katniss. This will be good. And then like disappears again. There are a couple of like non-verbal responses where like someone will make a comment and Katniss, to spite them because she didn't like that comment, will like change her behaviour but never address what they said. And the fact that to a lot of other people she seems to come across as emotionless. At the beginning of book 2, President Snow thinks that she is like indifferent to Peter, and Katniss is like, well, I'm not indifferent. But people think they've seen through this act where they're like, oh, she doesn't really love him, she's pretending. But like
it's the opposite.
Yeah, and then at the beginning of book 2, she has another like little emotional like, oh, I can't deal with this because I haven't spent 2 hours thinking about it because Gale kisses her. He kissed me. I was completely unprepared. Shocking. Despite the fact that the sun was setting and my family would be worried, I sat by a tree next to the fence. I tried to decide how I felt about the kiss, if I had liked it or resented it, but all I really remembered was the pressure of Gale's lips and the scent of oranges that still lingered on his skin. It was pointless comparing it with the many kisses I'd exchanged with Peter. I still hadn't figured out if any of those counted. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sold.
She's so good. And like, yeah, the importance of her being like really, really bad at all this stuff is kind of shifted a little bit by the films, who've taken a little bit, I think, of Jennifer
Lawrence.
Yes, who is funny and awkward and weird, but like actually quite good at all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like she knows what she's doing. Like she's doing it differently to everyone else.
Yeah, but she like still has like a consistent brand where she's like
very,
the
very good at it. Yeah.
Who's like awkward and like
knows how to make
has like sweets in her
like, all that
pocket.
stuff. Yeah. Whereas like Katniss was like, no, I can't do this. I innately none of the things.
None of the roles like.
Yeah.
Whereas Jennifer Lawrence has been like, this is the role that I will play, which is the like quirky one. Whereas Katniss has tried them all, and they've been like, no, you can't do this either.
Yeah, you're really bad at all of this.
Yeah, excellent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Fix it in post.
I'll just fix that in post. Also, like halfway through, I started having that little anxiety that I wasn't recording and I hadn't pressed the record button. And I was like, I don't want to stop you because we're in the flow and like ruin the video, but we are recording. And also, like we both have like a memory that we could probably just recite what we just did again.